Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Heavyweight contender Joseph Parker, he's vowing to show more mongrel when he faces Dillian Whyte on July 28th. For those of you who are wondering, what does that actually mean? Essentially, he's saying he's going to be a lot more aggressive, angry, he's going to take it out on Whyte. So I'll get to the quotes and then a few thoughts. And then I also want to get to his trainer Kevin Barry's reflections on how the referee for the Joseph Parker vs. Anthony Joshua fight, how that guy actually officiated that fight. Because he's got some thoughts on it, which I'm sure many of you will be interested in. But to the Parker comments first. So in talking to Fight Hype, Parker says, "We just have to get a bit more mongrel. Get a bit more ruthless. He's trying to lure me." Because that's his style of fighting. Standing there in the pocket and throwing punches. I'm going to box smart, but when it's time to go to war, I will go to war. We are not scared of anyone. I back myself whatever fight I fight, whether it's outside or the inside. I believe it will end in a knockout, one punch to the chin. His chin, not mine. That would be a nice result in the UK. I back my chin, but boxing, it's a funny game where one punch at the right time, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your chin is, it changes everything. But in saying that, I still back myself. And Parker, he also reflected on his windfall from fighting Anthony Joshua, saying, "It's a great feeling. It's a blessing. It's a team effort, a lot of people involved to get me where I am today. I was able to buy a house and look after my family. I just want to be champ again. Former is great, but it's not the same as hey champ. No one says hey former champ. I think champ sounds better. So for me now, it's about legacy and what you are going to leave in the heavyweight scene." And just on the event itself, so more than 12,000 tickets were sold on the first day of sales. And who knows, maybe this could push on and end up being a 20,000 sellout at the O2 in London. So it certainly seems like there is a fair degree of interest. 12,000 first day, not bad. But we'll just unpack some of Joseph Parker's statements there. I mean, it's good to hear him saying he's got that hunger, he wants to be champ again. Because he's right, no one says, hey, former champ. But the first thing that I really want to get into is this more aggressive tone that Joseph Parker is actually talking for this fight. And sure, he said previously that he'll knock people out, and we all remember the phony trash talk ahead of the Joshua fight being announced. But these comments about showing more mongrel, they sound very genuine to me. There's a lot on the line for this fight, and he knows it. And I'm sure to some degree, Parker regrets not being more aggressive against Anthony Joshua. I mean, he ultimately went the distance in that fight, and he really didn't empty the tank late on or show much appetite for risk or to go to war with Joshua at any stage. I mean, the referee didn't help, but that wasn't the whole problem. Both guys were somewhat risk averse. I mean, and he's right as well. He needs to show more mongrel, needs to be more ruthless. Parker has to take the handbrake off here. And I'm sure there will be times where he needs to really get into it with Whyte in a major way. Because if he's passive, if he holds back, has those running shoes on, as Dillian Whyte puts it, then Parker could easily find himself on the wrong end of a decision. And I'm sure to some degree he must know that. He's fighting away from home. He's not, he's potentially, it's a 50-50 fight. Home fighter, well, you could say that Parker needs to actually come out and do some serious work if he wants a decision, if it goes that far. And if he also backs that chin that we all keep saying and hearing is made of granite, then he probably needs to take some more calculated risks to actually try force a knockout. I mean, remember, Parker, he was once regarded as a knockout artist. And this guy, he hasn't had a KO since 2016. So we're getting up to close to 2 years. I mean, that's a long time between drinks. And in my view, the more that he's refined his style to become more of a boxer puncher, the less exciting his fights have been. Albeit largely effective. He's got the wins in all but one case. But to some degree, even casual interest in Parker in New Zealand at least. It's come off the highs from a couple of years ago. There was such a buzz around Joseph Parker. There's not that same feeling now. And there wasn't quite that same feeling ahead of the Joshua fight. Sure, people were interested, but it wasn't quite with that same fervour, say, from 2016. But in saying that, knocking over Dillian Whyte in his hometown, it would certainly be quite the statement. And it would really put him back on the map and get some of that interest back. But the knockout, getting it, it's easier said than done. But Parker, and I've said this before, if he limps to a safe and uninspiring win, we have to actually start asking the question, does his value as a commodity in the division fall? Because consider this, in terms of raw excitement, Parker's fight with Andy Ruiz Jr., bit of a stinker. Parker's fight with Razvan Kajano, a bit of a stinker. The fight with Hughie Fury, bit of a stinker. And the fight with Anthony Joshua, bit of a stinker. So it kind of feels like we are at that stage where he's at a bit of a tipping point where he can't really afford another lackluster performance. And he needs an aggressive, ruthless performance as he wants and as he's talking about. And that would be just what the doctor ordered. And we keep hearing Kevin Barry sort of telling us every time out that Joseph Parker is really capable of these sorts of devastating and impressive performances. He sees this stuff in the gym all the time, but for whatever reason, some of it just can't seem to translate. And if he doesn't impress in this next fight, even if he wins, some of the opportunities and potentially the big paydays, they could start to diminish. Because sometimes, even when you win, you can lose. But in terms of Barry, he's spoken to FightTalk.net about the now infamous refereeing display by Giuseppe Quattrone, saying he didn't have to make a comment about the referee after the fight because the whole world got to see it. He goes on saying, "Here we had the first unification fight in the heavyweight division in over 8 years, to undefeated young world champions. For God's sake, couldn't they have given us one of the best referees in the world to officiate over a fight of this magnitude, instead of a muppet who actually destroyed the fight? He ruined it for both fighters, and he ruined it for all the fans. It was an absolutely appalling performance. I don't even need to say that because everyone else has said it. But a fight of that magnitude, it should have been officiated by the best, not by some substandard guy." And I think for many fans, Kevin Barry has really summed up what a majority of us have been thinking. And Barry, he also commented on Parker taking on Dillian Whyte on July 28th, saying, "The risk and reward, the chance of redemption was too good to ignore. This is Joe's redemption fight. Would we have liked more time in a 10-week camp? Yes, we would have. But we were prepared to roll the dice on 7 weeks. Dillian likes to engage. Some people might think that's too much for Joe. Others will say that might play into Joe's hands." Kevin Barry there. And Barry is right, this is a redemption fight, and for some of the reasons already mentioned earlier in this video, and more. So from the sounds of it, Parker, he's ready to go. This is his redemption fight. He wants this badly, and he's going to be ready for Dillian Whyte come July 28th. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out. The clock is ticking. The Boxing Squared YouTube channel, it's about to turn 1 soon. At the end of the month, it will be 1 year old, and of course, very happy about that, and also the fact the channel is approaching 1 million total views. So what I want to do to sort of celebrate that, the anniversary and such, is do a giveaway. So there will be 2 t-shirts up for grabs. So if you win, you get to pick a t-shirt of your favorite boxer, and you tell me what t-shirt you want, you know, color, etc. from whatever boxer, and I'll organize that, buy it online, and send it to you. Obviously, you have to tell me your address, but we can work out those details. But 2 chances to win. First one, I want you to tell me your funniest boxing story, and then I'll pick my favorite from the bunch. So start your story with the hashtag 1 year. So hashtag 1 year, so I know that you're in for the competition. And I wanted to give you guys who hang until the end the first opportunity, first dibs at winning a t-shirt, because not everyone sticks it out to the end. Some people only listen for a few minutes. But if you've gone this far, you've got the opportunity. Tell me your funniest story. From boxing, of course. Life, that's another matter. But, hilarity in boxing, it does happen. And some of these stories, I'm sure, will be crackers. Second chance to win. It's just a sheer lucky dip. So for that one, hashtag me please. So on screen now, hashtag me please. You go in the draw, and I'll do the draw at the end of the month when the channel celebrates its birthday. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it.